All who walk the earth remember. All who walk the earth remember. All who walk the earth remember. You are here. You are here and now. And the now is about to get wider. The now is about to feel richer, bigger, more connected. For you are entering into your connection to everything. The magic, the complexity, the love, the fire, the passion, the joy. Everything collides in oneness. You are a world awakening, all its shades and colors. Remember kindness, compassion. Be here for love. You will let yourself calibrate to this experience. Remember. All who walk the earth, remember. All who walk the way. I'm here to find my place above. They call us down, they called us down to earth. We all came down, we all came down to earth. For now, Feel the air, a change is near. The blood, it's slowly something. They call us down, call us down. They call us to us. We all came down, all came down. We all came Dito kayo, tanong bay, papaytano, ki, tapaki, dito may. Dito kayo. Lee Harris, Waken, free on YouTube. Tree, we sort out our tree nervous system. The bird that hover, the bird flower, paradise. Dito momo. We're not scared of dying, we're scared of living. We like that one. Mine's off of down here, Tim mine. Down here. We've done our sunrise meditation. It's taken us a long time to be able to move from bed. Trying to divide all it's so near. We were born to love and cry. We were born to wonder why. We were born to live and love. We were born to love and cry. This is the way I hear, the way I feel, the way I see, the way I live. Hi. This is the voice. Hi. We needed to connect. We're crawling through our fears, what the words that went into the Google search for the picture, but nothing spoke to us. Then we remembered that we pulled lots of photos, saved lots of photos from another time. There's a few called Identity. So we chose one of them, which is the tree inside the blue body, but there's a few, but 3 blue bodies. That was fun. Like, not that one, that's not nice. That's the one we chose. That one, yeah, that's how we're feeling. Really hard, everything, because it's all manifested in the physical so much. That's what it's like. But thank you to Mummy Nature and Zendaya.
Jupiter time.
Time for expansion now with the planetary hours of Jupiter time. What day is it? What day is it? What day is it? It's day after we start the challenges. That's why we're getting more scared. What challenges we started? YouTube challenge, the free YouTube challenge. Yeah. And Rebirth with Lee Harris. Yeah. They start on the 19th because it's the number of the sun and that's our rising sign. Yeah. So what day is it? Moon's Monday. Mystic Magic Moon Day Monday. Moon's number 18 and it's number 18 yesterday. The day's in alignment with the planets. No, just the moon day in alignment with the planet on Monday. So today, Tuesday? No, Tuesday, day after Moon Day when we start challenges. So it's day after, yeah. Mercury, Magician number 1, Ace of Cups number 1, new beginnings all round. Shh. She's all we done, Mo. We're grateful we're getting more subscribers, but we're getting scared now. We're only up to 15 on this channel. If this is what it's doing to us. 15 important. 15, when we go to the other one that we do on this, it always say different to what length of video is on subscriptions page. You're going. Jaw going is pelvis. It means it's jaw's release scene so that it can release the pelvis, because in the pelvis is the psoas major and psoas minor muscles, and they hold all trauma and fear and anxiety. We got lots. We've done very well at hiding it from everyone. We always knew we had quite a bit. We knew we had inner strength. We didn't know it was the DID. It's time for it all to come out now and be purged. And we've been doing very well. We haven't had any read for ages, not in any format, not in milk, not on Mad Body and massage. We're really feeling all the pain. We're eating good too. We're still having our cheese parcels, and we got our cheese pocket parcels, but our soup was the celery and the kale and root vegetables. And we're still in summer house grounding. And barefoot grounding when we come in. We no drink nothing yet. We don't drink nothing yet. We got this left over. That's good. Subconscious always knows best. Subconscious always knows best. We've been telling our stories in pictures and words from other people for a long time. We very much in alignment. We've been in alignment, we think, our whole lives. But we're doing another form of alignment on the inside now that needs to be done on us. See, to be the change you want to see in the world is not easy. Especially if you don't have anything inside you to do clues. And then everyone else outside you don't understand you. And always tell you not to do this or not to do that. It doesn't leave many options left to do. That's why we got to do what we're doing. Because we know we're not alone in this, and we know that this will help reach out to people that can feel us because they experience some level of it too, but maybe not be able to fully experience it because they close themselves off too, because it's what you have to do to be able to function in the world that's going on at the moment. But not going on at the moment, not going on at the moment, not going on, not, ton. We're winning, one. Part of snowflake backwards one. No, it's not, it's part of it's forward. Take away the S and then you got now. S. Oh, so it is backwards one. God, it gets confusing in here. Some's backwards and then some's forwards and then some's backwards and it's backwards in the backwards in the forwards. That's in the backwards. It's the fractal geometry in it all. It's very hard, and it's all coming out, and we're struggling to keep up with it. But before, when we struggled to come up with it on the layers that come out in each of the groups that we do, and then the patterns change, and then we get confused because people that lead the groups are meant to be enlightened and they're meant to walk their talk, and then they don't seem to walk their talk. But they do eventually. But we have to navigate ourselves through the triggers to stay in the group and not run away from the group, and attempt to do our best at changing our behaviour because we can feel and see the effect it's having, because that's what our gift is. Because we're having a shamanic initiation. And we're on a massively long journey within journeys because of the DID. A vision quest, it's called in Native American Indian. That's the name Snowflake. They gave us that to us. Mum was called Whispering Reed Woman. Father Grey Owl. They read it from your dreams, but we were only 2, so I don't know how they knew our dreams. Probably because of our energy, because we got really strong energy. And I think other people know our dreams because of what they say to us now in hindsight. But I never know them because we don't dream night like that. Not at night. 15:15. So the video other one was 51:15. And the other numbers. Oh yeah, There was 2 last night. There was the one at 6:00 for the YouTube, which went on to just gone 7, which went on to about 8. Then, but we were good, and we went on floor and did our back bend like we used to do when we sleep in here, and then wake up in the morning and do a really long back bend. Also, and then do our reading. But also before that, when we couldn't do the reading, we couldn't do the videos because scared and seen and heard. When we used to just stare at the grass, the pretty grass with the rainbow SMAs and the rainbow EMAs on Trading View. But we have to go away from that again too, because we've done the foundations and all that, and we got to do the foundations in this. We're getting close, it's getting scary. I'm not sure exactly what we're getting close to, but I know some of us know. We can't face it yet. Not lack of trying or wanting, because the physical brain can't cope with it yet. It's still too stunted. It needs to grow up and expand more, but you got to do it in the rest of the body first, in the patterns. We understand it in the body so well. Hey, Tomo. We're not washed yet, but we done our cold water therapy on our wrists and our face, and we did a couple of short ones in the mouth, but it's really hurting our teeth nerve on that side, on that tooth. One of them would be able to tell you which organs and meridian that linked to, but it's not us, it's other ones. They're probably the ones that probably do with the other stuff, and they're doing their best to accommodate all the other ones into what we need to do to ease the load on them, and then the pain will go away. Because it's just different language for different systems. Like, you have different language for different countries. And like, you have different language for different jobs and careers. Lawyers have language, engineers have language, maths have language, science have language, biology has language. Some of them overlap. And what we learned from Cindy, it's very true, is people going bold and going grey early. It's because they're too much in their head and not enough in their heart and their body, like Dalai Lama says. But we always got that balance quite right, you see, because we're very lucky in being gifted with the right unique cocktail of packages of labels and disorders, but we don't like the terminology of that. They got that wrong. Not on purpose, just the way it's really collective evolution's happening, you see. But poles are shifting. We thought they shifted yesterday at 5 o'clock because there's this new thing on, not a new thing on our phone, it's been there a long time. It's one of the apps that just appear, but they don't just appear. One of the other alters do it that we're not connected to. We start to understand more now. And we looked at it a couple of times, but we actually done more yesterday, and I don't know what we did, but it's linked it all up with the calendar. So now on calendar, it's got like all the stuff that we've been writing in by hand that takes ages, and so we can't keep doing it, and then it goes in and out, in and out. It's just done it for us. They're very good, all these technologies and these app things. So we know it sounds crazy, but we're not crazy. We're just different in lots of ways. But we've been like we communicate with nature. We've been communicating with technology. You have to play around with it, and that's like going back to YouTube again. That's it. Numbers YouTube, and then what were we just saying about YouTube? Slow down, keep up, slow down, keep up, keep up, slow down. Shh, shh. Oh. Slow down, keep up. Keep down, slow up, keep down, slow up, down, keep, down, slow, up, slow up. You'll go slowly uphill and downhill. More important to go slowly downhill, or you get carried away with the gradient and go way too fast. Do you see all the metaphors? Nala nala dirty tomato, nala nala dirty tomato. ANALOGOES. That one. Really not been good that, but because we've had all the life experiences that we've had, and because we're doing so much energy work, and the way the multiversal laws of energies works, it's about pitonno, and it's a titomo paitano. What you put in, you get back at least threefold. We've been putting in hell of a lot because we're fucking desperate. But you see, we're getting a very good transformer, transmuter, alchemizer, because fear and passion, excitement, and all that shizers is just measured the same when it's in colour form. Drink. That's why we use straw, but not good to use straw. We need to use the mouth properly. People need to chew properly. It helps you breathe. At this day and age and this moment with the C word, we need to be able to learn how to breathe proper. And swallow. Swallow. That's a bird. That's a pretty bird. But we think it's the one with the long tail that's curved two-pin fork. But we think that might be a sparrow too. It's just another one of the many things we get mixed up. So yeah, so all the groups now we've done got to a point where we've been massively triggered, and then in the last one when we got complained about, and that's meant to be the most enlightened. But it feels different on this one. We have only started, but we've commented a lot, I tell ya. But they want you to comment. And they don't seem to have, they do have rules actually, and we have printed it all off, and some of us have read it, but I don't think enough of us have read it yet to understand it all yet. But we have explained to them best we can our situation, but we're not sure what we explained because we're not all checked over that yet either, because we have to do so at least 3 times, but it used to be at least 3 times. I think it's at least 9 times now, if I'm honest, and we don't have the energy for that. It's really hard to navigate the balance of it all. I think we're doing exceptionally well, but we can put it down there. We made space the other day. Space important. Space important. Oh, there's more space created. Look, it doesn't say space, but it does. It says space, but it doesn't say space like we're meaning it. We've done what it says. It says bless this space. We bless lots of spaces in the body, outside on the body, in the house, outside in the garden, further afield, in our mental body. So you got to create space, you see, you got to make room. That's why people put on weight, to pump up the tubular body like a balloon, like a lilo, you know, not like a blow up mattress that's got many holes that you need to put the thing in to pump it up because it's got different tubular systems. Yeah, it's a simple, very simple version of it. And the latest lovely lady, she's from New Zealand, and that's where we snowboard too. Mind you, we used to do night shifts, you see. We always had at least 2 jobs, if not 3 or more. About time we had a rest. Not that you can really call this a rest, although I bet people that think you're on benefits thinks it's a rest and that you're blurging off the system, but we're not blurging off the system. We're very grateful to the system because we wouldn't be able to do this without it. We're doing best to can't please everyone, you see, and we're doing our best to keep the balance to please everyone and not hurt anyone too much. But some people are going to get hurt because we get hurt when we're too attached to our belief systems and that we think we are our belief systems. But just because you're a doctor or a surgeon or something else doesn't mean that's who you are in your essence, in your heart, in your core. So this is what we've been doing is the best way to accommodate our chosen family and our family. But we think we got all that wrong too. Because if we got it right, then we wouldn't be on our own now. And it's always about treat others how you want to be treated, and that's always what we've done. But then it doesn't seem to come back. We know why that is though, my lovelies, don't we? Yeah, you keep saying it. It's to do with what we're scared of, isn't it? We know say it too much all at once. 15, the numbers make us happy. So this morning morning, that's it. So we did the first U2 thing last night till 8 o'clock-ish, and then 8:30 was Rebirth. And then there was another one at midnight. So we stayed for a competition, because the competitions, younger ones like the competitions. And then we congratulate the people that win them. We're quite happy if we don't win anything, because we want to win the big prize. But we've got to be happy in case we don't win that either. But that's okay. We've got a backup plan if we don't win that, just because we're not ready for it. And we've already won 2 packs of cards. And we've got the other one on the way, you see. See, when we win stuff, it's not because we're greedy. It's because it's a sign to us that we're on the right path, because it means the energies are doing right. We're understanding it. And it's really hard to understand it when it's all messed up in here. From all the physical trauma with the injuries and all the sexual traumas from the sexual abuse at such a young age, and then afterwards and onwards, and then the emotional traumas. Lot to navigate. We always used to choke on our saliva and swallow our hair and stuff. Oh, looks like we've shifted again. Hi. At least we're going through the cycles quickly. I'm not quite sure what we're up to. We've started loads of things, haven't we? We're not quite finished any. Let's start with the numbers, I think, because that makes us feel better. So the numbers, so we go to Facebook. So when we're stuck in bed or in a position that we can't do anything, and we eventually be able to move our arms and hands and stuff, we start connecting by just having a nose on our Facebook. And going to the things that make us happy now and there, rather than going to the things of the people that are not false, but they don't really show you the real them. They just show you the good parts, and we're showing you all of it, because that's always who we've been. We've always shown all of us to the best of our ability, and we've been told that we've got a closed heart and we push love away, but we don't at all. Because anything that people say is a projection of their inner world. And the problem is our heart's too open. And people can't handle the depth that we have to offer, because when people are in our company, we offer them to go deep within themselves. And we've lost a lot of people that we've loved dearly because of that. But that's okay, because that's what they need to do, keep themselves in a safe zone for them. And we understand that now. And so this is what we're doing to keep us in a safe zone. And we're just being frazzled and frazzled and frazzled. And the psych ward last year was just like one of the last straws. It wasn't the last straw. The last straw was the 2 people left in my life, one family, one a friend, the friend that witnessed a load of it. Their fear ran deep. And they couldn't believe that the one thing, they'd always been asking questions, trying to get us to explain. And we were using up all our energy to explain to them, to facilitate their understanding, and they weren't getting it, and they weren't getting it. And we have nothing left to give in the physical form of energy anymore. But we're still finding a way to give, because there's a third of us that don't have the drive or the willpower to want to do this for them. And we're super intelligent, because we come from a super intelligent family. There's we've got up there doctors in our family. And bless her, best one, she's an ex-nun. And thank God, literally, for her husband, our energetic father. I mean, it took them 12 years before they got together, because they had to get out of the priesthood and the nunhood, or whatever it's called. But she first taught us that was at least 7 intelligences, and it wasn't academia. And she's hugely academic. She used to teach adult education to, if you've ever been to Dublin, half of Dublin is rich and half's poor. And it's literally, you can tell the distinction from the bridge crossing. One side's poor, one side's half. I mean, come on, we're in a Western world, and you have that much of a blatant, obvious diversity or separation between it. I mean, people talk about Eastern countries and stuff going on over there, and how could it be like that, and the refugees. It's like, it's sitting on your doorstep at home and you're not helping it. because it's harder when it's under your nose and it's right on your doorstep, because it's closer to home to you. I mean, some of the humanitarian aid workers we've met are beautiful. They're doing amazing things, but their home life isn't the best. There's always this give or take. So if there's one area that you're doing really well in, there's always going to be another area that loses out. And hence the bolding when we're too much in our head and not enough in our heart. It's about the poles are shifting. And we went to New Zealand, and that was a much better electromagnetic whirlpool for us. So we're really super happy the poles are shifting, because that means the better pattern of energies coming up our end this time. We look forward to that. And we know we're going to end up buying land there. Like, we're capable of so much, and we know we are. We've always kind of known we are, but we don't want to be famous. We don't like being seen or heard. But we will make ourselves be comfortable being seen and heard, not because we want to be famous, but because we want to do right by Mother Gaia. We want to do right by all those people that have the labels of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, autism, dyslexia, dissociative identity disorder, any type of mental health issue, any type of physical health issue. And the way the world is going, I'm afraid that that's probably at least 3/4 of the population. So those people say that you can't access everyone. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. There are ways to access everyone. It won't happen overnight, or it won't happen like that. That the spiritual people speak out of, and I'm not condescending any of you, it's just the way it is. You're beautiful people. Our tarot people have been amazing, but it's all inside of you. Come from your child state ego and take credit for your unique, complex expression of bioorganic consciousness. And thank God for Rob's tarot and Rob. He is the one person that's still communicating with us, even with all our different random conversations and blurbs. We generally do quite well, but he sees our intelligence. How do I know that? Because he's commented on it before, and he recognizes us. Not all of us, but that's okay, because we trigger everyone. But yeah, he did something. He put something up the other day, and he was talking about sensuality and the way that so many people have been sexually abused, even with not knowing. Some people have been sexually abused and they don't know they've been sexually abused. And then you've got the women that say they've been raped, and the men don't understand, because there's the deep belief system and stigma in some men that if women are wet, then they want it. Then there's the people that have been sexually abused that takes so long for them to get past it, because one of the things to get past sexual abuse is that part of you enjoyed being sexually abused, which it would, because it's primitive, it's nature, the physical body is there to be stimulated. Hence, when you get sexually abused, you either become promiscuous or frigid. So yeah, anyone that's been sexually abused, we can tick off quite a few boxes, I tell you. And we're attempting to do it in the most compassionate, beautiful possible way, by getting the light and shining the light on our darkness, facing our fears, facing our shame. And we've also learned from some people, when we do say the bad things that we've done. And there's one girl particularly that springs to mind, bless her. And she's like, Neve, that really isn't that bad. I've done a lot worse. So luckily, because again of our beautiful child state ego empowerment and play, which we have to give gratitude to the sexual abuse for, to our mum's suicide, because we wouldn't have that stunted growth otherwise. And if we didn't have that stunted growth, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. It terrifies us what we're doing now. But we need to become financially self-sufficient again. And this ain't all going to go away. We're not going to be able to work in the conventional way to earn money. So how are we going to earn money? Yes, there's the Bitcoin and the trading, but our brain's not ready for that again. We can't even access the... We were a fab bookkeeper and accountancy stuff. And we've done all the admin courses and touch typing and the rest of it. But we can't access that again because that's all too developed in the brain. And we've got to access and develop and expand the parts of the brain that haven't been expanded. And that means tearing through the actual physical fascia adhesions, of some of which can't be cut by a surgeon's knife, hence why we needed the psych ward experience, hence why we needed 8 people to restrain a body that's not eaten or drunk for goodness knows how long, lost however many stone, looking like they're anorexic when they look in the mirror, but last time they were like, you know, couldn't even fit into their fat jeans. Because we needed that fascia ripped apart. And not to be cut apart from the surgeon's knife, because we've had operations, we've gone to hospitals, and it doesn't work because of the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's faulty healing. It produces more pain, and it produces more lack of signals of information to be passed through the faulty healing. So, yeah, we haven't been able to pass any of the courses that we've done and get the qualifications because we're not meant to. Because we're meant to produce our own really rare cocktail and unique thing that accesses all these people, which is, I'm guessing, the Shinto yoga experience. Let's learn and play and grow together at the moment. So even with all that's going on there, we're still putting all the material out there to help us alters, but also be there to help whoever else wants to join in on this journey. And yet, well, we say sadly, but it's probably fortunate as well. It'll be it's the strangers that have been able to see us and recognise us and send us the most beautiful comments at just the right time to keep us going. So much gratitude to you all. I'm sure if you ever watch these or see these, you know exactly who you are. So yeah, it was it was 51 likes and 15 comments on the YouTube challenge post this morning that we commented on. And to keep track of ourselves, to know what we're doing, because it's getting hard, which is what we were doing before. But I don't think we would have understood before when we went back over it. Whereas now we've got enough connection and enough co-conscious to understand what the photos represent. We figured out how to do screenshots, and we figured out how to do screenshots on the computer as well. But I mean, yeah, that's why we print everything off on the YouTube challenge, because like one of us will be able to do one thing, but then another role will come in, and then it's like, well, how do we get to that? We need to get to that to ask them a question. I mean, we brought the VIP thing because you get to ask the questions, but you've got to go to a different place to ask the question, and we can't find that place. And then we received an email this morning saying that we hadn't completed our VIP order and do we want to complete it. But I'm sure we've looked on our bank statements, and in the pending section of the credit card, it says that there's 2 payments to the YouTube challenge. And I'm sure one of them is for the starter kit that's worth like, the course is for free, and that's worth just under $2,000. And then there's another thing that's worth like $1,000 something, which was $27. And I'm sorry to eyes, this is like bargains, seeing as we've been doing this for 10 months now or more. So obviously we are doing it and we're committed. So it's an investment. And then it gave you the option to pay another like $70 to get a lifetime membership of this VIP thing. And we did it. So for something like $4,000 or $5,000, we've got for under £100. But yeah, but as usual, even like with our benefits form sending it back, it all goes to pot. So even when we do everything right to cover all bases, it never works. I really shocked myself to understand how I managed to keep going. I really do. But I know, because we're backwards to everyone else, and even though we are going to follow the rules that we've learned off everyone else and apply them to us to make it fair, we're not. We're completely backwards, and we've always put the other first. And that's okay, because we're figuring out a way to fill up our cup that's got heaps of holes in it at the same time as giving it out, because we know when we give out, it comes back. So there's the energy leaking out of the holes in the cup, there's the energies chosenly being given out, and then there's the energies that we're constantly bringing back in. I really hope some people get these metaphors. If not, it's okay, because when we come back and we watch these videos again and again and take notes, we'll get it, and each time we'll be able to get clearer with our language and more impeccable with our word. Because we don't make assumptions and we question everything. Well, we do initially, because that's the programming and the patterning. And you have to initially to recognize what the programming and the pattern is to then change the pattern out the outcome. Like he says in the Urban Shaman book, all the books that we're reading isn't just the title on the books and the words and the contents or the emotional attachment to it. It's just like, honestly, there's a mind full of everything of why stuff's going on. I mean, for God's sake, don't call modern day meditation mindfulness. We're meant to be emptying our mind, not filling it up more. But because of the negative attachment and connotation to the word negative or empty, calling it mind emptiness ain't going to be very good, is it, for people? It's not going to draw anyone in. Oh, you have to laugh. You've seen what the rest of it goes like. So yeah, I'm just going to take us back through this story. So we're on the sunset, because I've done the sunrise meditation, but of course backwards, and that reminds us of it's a sunset. It says on some of them to pass this card on, and I don't get that. Why would you? I suppose you buy a pack to take a festival with you, and if they get a card like this, you pass it on to them. We got past an Ace of Diamonds once at one of the festivals. I think we've probably still got it. God knows that. I think it's probably about 20 years old, if not more. I think that was when we were 18 at Glastonbury. 22 years old. There we go. The number of intuition, the master builder number. Because 11's the master number of service. 15's our birthday sequence. And it's the number of the devil, which is Capricorn energies, which we've just come out of. And one of the people that strongly hurt us is a Capricorn. So this is how all the energies entangle. You're not a victim of your zodiac sign. You're not a victim of your genes. Bruce Lipton, Epigenetics. Oh my God, all these people, they're amazing. If I could just be in the same room with all these people and put them together, they'd get it. They'd so get it. And the energetics that would then go on in that room would be amazing. Like I've seen, when you watch them, I've been on so many things now. What was the other one? We were on the Unify, and the Unify, oh, it was amazing. They had like all these ancient shamanic, well, not ancient because they're still alive. And I shouldn't say ancient because that implies that they're old. And I'm not implying that they're old. I'm implying that they hold lots of ancient knowledge. Are we getting there on being considerate and impeccable with our words? It's exhausting. But so we're in the bath, and there's like 50 or something. I'm sure there's been a lot more this time, but this time it was 50, and they were shaman from all different cultures all over the world and other people. Oh, it was beautiful. And we were in one of our special, if you look on one of the other channels, one of our special tuning forked baths with Epsom salts and essential oils and the rest of it, watching them doing whatever the children ones do, and the ones that don't talk but do all the sounding. God, their intention is so pure and so deep. And I don't know, but as I'm getting clearer and more understanding, but I still don't know. And it's good not to know. It's good not to know and to keep questioning until we know for sure. But I'm just going to take a step out there and say this, and it's a good sign, because the opposite to my scar now on the right-hand side is just giving them some really nice release. Because the scar's on the left side, at the left back quadrant, which, no, it's not there, so we're not going to get it, which affects all the left back quadrant one, which is, I think, let's see if we can figure this out. The left is male, and the left front is your prefrontal lobar cortex, which teenagers don't have developed enough, because so therefore they're not able to be empathic and have empathy towards others. So it's the parents that need to be effing more empathic for them to understand this, and that they need to grow up their parts of the brain to accommodate their kids more, not to pass on the shit. So that, and the prefrontal lobe cortex enables you to function in society and do stuff. Hence why you have some people that've got like massive foreheads. Sorry. There's really, again, please don't take it personally. Another one of 4 agreements to anyone that's got a big forehead. I've got a big forehead. Well, kinda. I've got a small head in general and a small nose, but I wish I had a big nose because I'll be able to breathe better. A big flat nose. Yeah, God, the questions that we've asked our whole life, let that relate around to the body. I've always thought we've been quite judgmental, but we've not. We've just been curious of why body's shaped in different ways, because our bodies always try to figure it out. Because from psychology or terminology of the brain and the mind, it's dissociative identity disorder. But from psychology of the body, it's all of my cellular communities of systems attempting to speak to the subconscious, attempting to speak to the conscious, attempting to get the message there. Go, please look after us. We're trying to do it this way. And we are doing it now. But because of the way our wiring is, David Eagleman, synesthesia, not in the common sense of being able to see sound or hear colour, because our main gifts is like taste and smell. And even the external is getting more and more cut off, which is part of the C word as well. But we're feeling it so intensely on the internal. I mean, I can taste my bowel from the inside sometimes. But that's because it needs information from the bowel to be able to do whatever it needs to do. So like the communication that's going on with this most amazing bioorganic computer with bioorganic consciousness, organic consciousness and inorganic consciousness is insane. But like we're getting it more. Like when Zendaya goes outside, we're like, say hi to Mummy Gaia, go and like do your grounding and get more information and bring it back so that we can like continue on our journey together, because we need to do this. I'm getting tired. But I know we're getting there. And I know what this there is this time, because I know there's lots of theirs. And this there is for us to be able to do the 4 of Swords and rest and get some REM sleep, some proper deep sleep cycles. And I can feel us slowing down. But as soon as we slow down enough in one altar, on to the next one. And we've got a lot. Hence why we've travelled so much of the world, had so many different groups of people, of friends. Hence why when we did have birthdays, which was very rare, it got so hard because we didn't know who to go with or who to hang out with or who to do what, and it got too confusing because we got all the different altars in us. Because when we go take ourselves to a different group, we'd take ourselves to a different group of friends or the different individual friends that we needed at that time to mirror their beautiful energy or their not so beautiful energy, whatever was there at the time, so that we could give ourselves the messages. Oh, look, this is good. We're able to answer the door, I think. Hopefully it's our honey. Oh my God, we're so sore. Right, come on, our legs can work. Our legs can work. Hi. Yeah. Can you do us a favour, please? Sure. Thank you. It's all right. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful delivery man in this current day and age. Thank you. I hope everyone's saying so much gratitude to the delivery men as well as the postmen and the NHS and the shopkeepers, because they're doing a grand job too. We got really worried about one of our guys because he came round and he was so lovely. One time we even gave him a hug and we not been hugging no one. And another time we came round, we wrapped him up a little crystal in a present with our card, and we brought our tuning fork out to him and put our tuning fork on his head, and he said it was lovely. And then we didn't see him again, and we got really worried that we might have triggered something bad in him, and that we crossed boundaries, because we always cross boundaries accidentally. But you see, Zendaya teach us boundaries too, because cats don't put up with abuse like dogs. So Zendaya, cats been teaching us healthy boundaries. And we've always been very independent. I mean, we still are now. Hence why we need to get financially independent again too. But we've both been attempting to learn to play again. But you see, he's struggling just as much as me, bless him. But we're both doing better on the weight front this time. We're eating this time. So it's coming up to the year anniversary of the psych ward. But this time we get the Leo full moon first, rather than the Aquarius new moon. So I think we get our energies topped up. And she been on, the lady we do our lunar living with, I mean, we've been doing it since 2017 on our own. Oh, thank you. Hi. Yeah, so we've been doing it since 2017 on our own. That's where our books go back from. But we needed her, we needed the external again, like we always have done. And she's gone on to this morning for the second time. Last time fraction now, done the expansion. She went on to this morning, and it's like, I don't know what the lady's called, but a spirit Schofield. And he had a little puppet, didn't he? Yeah, he had that little puppet when we used to watch our TV. And I mean, his hair's white. It's so, it's that like silver fox white in it, like George Clooney. But he's so in his head, bless him. And so like we're there like this. The little scientists in us are just there looking at their facial expression, both of them, but mainly Philip's facial expression. Go like this. Okay, watch his face. Don't take your eyes off his face. We've got to stay focused. We've got to stay present. Stay in our here and now. Stay in our now. We need to see his face. And so we're watching his facial movements, and he's just like, he's like we used to be, so rigid, so composed, disconnected from his heart and body. Bless him. He's such a beautiful man. And it's like Chris Packham too. And so she does the meditation with the moon meditation and stuff, and they're beautiful meditations that she does. And she finishes it, and we're watching him, and he comes out of it, and it's just like, this kind of very subtle, but this, and well, I know it because that's what we're like. And it's this like, wow, oh wow, that felt really good. It's just like, just left all my worries behind. I don't know why I talk about him again now. Oh look, when we put our little hands in the rubber hands hair in the rubber bands after we get out of the water, it makes a wonderful mohawk. Yeah, you guys love this, don't you? I'm not too keen on the hairstyle myself, but I just let them get on with whatever they need to get on with. Plus, I know that part of the healing is to look in the mirror and shave the head backwards. It's helping the backwards part of the wiring in the brain. Let's get on with this because this is taking ages. So read the cards. Let's have a bit of a drink. Yeah, we got to get past the year anniversary of the psych ward. We got let out on the 18th. So that's major stage number 1 to get past. God, I've got so much pain going on. Let's hold where it's not the pain. And the linear, so that's it. We do all the different new years. So we've done one new year. That was stage number 1. Stage number 2, actually, I think it's before the psych ward. I'd have to double check that one. So I'm not sure if stage number 2 and 3 are a bit ambiguous. It's the entering point of the psych ward, or maybe actually the day before, because we're so good at being detective. We've been detective our whole life and checking up and stuff, but there's like there's at least 24 hours, if not more, before we got put in the psych ward where I completely got blacked out and locked out again. From goodness knows whichever altar. We're actually starting to get curious to know what happened in. Well, we say we lost 4 days. If we got put in the psych ward on the 5th. Okay. Because we're really generally good at not being so assertive on our language unless it is. So maybe in that 4 days, it's a day before the psych ward and the first 3 days of the psych ward that we've got no recollection of. And we first came round to these 8 people restraining us and just being like, what the fuck's going on? But I couldn't talk, couldn't use my body. This is us inside. And then just doing our best to talk, to say, look, can you just like let me go? You know, having 6 people of you around me, I'm feeling all your fear. Can you just step 3 foot away from me so you're out of my physical aura, please? And then I'll relax like you're telling me to do so, but I can't. And all the different alters popping out. Like the younger one came out that tried to bring humour into the situation that didn't really go down very well at all, and put our tongue in the care worker's ear. But then we managed, between these back and fro's, they managed to sit me down on the bed, and I think it got down to like 5 people still restraining me, sitting on my bed in my number 10 room, which I thought, it's okay because we're in collaboration with our sound meditation people. This is all okay. But, you know, our souls are all talking in this soul group stuff that everyone talks about. And this is all planned out. And I'm in here because I'm doing the hard job. And then at the end, they're all going to come in and do this massive sound healing for all the mental people in here. And they're all going to magically get better. Another beautiful story that we'd created in our head. But we were in room number 10. The 10 related to them and the start of the sound healing meditation. So yeah, one of our main things is to show the impact, because you've got so many people now starting to do meditation courses and all kinds of things that don't truly understand themselves, that don't truly understand trauma and the impact of trauma on the body. And even when you get asked for feedback and you don't want to give it because you know it's not going to be received well, so you spend like a month preparing and planning and writing, and then give it, and that feedback gets ignored. Again, it's another realization that I've put other people on pedestals, and that actually they're not living up to their word because their belief systems are too deep. But then it makes sense because it goes back to the grey hair and the bald heads. So we're going to put ourselves on a pedestal this time. Because the only person you can really trust is yourself once you're able to trust yourself. And we're still not there fully, but we're getting there, another there. And then we know that when we do trust ourselves and understand ourselves, we'll know what truth is externally, because there'll just be this knowing and this resonance, and we understand frequency and sound like no tomorrow. Is that an expression? I don't understand that expression if it is. But yeah, we get frequency, we understand it really well. It's taken us a long time. I think it's 2012 that we started our first sound healing. But that would make sense because that's coming up to 8 years. No, coming up to 9 years. So it's the physical completion on the physical again. Rob just popped back into mind for something, but he's popped back out again. Okay, so let's go back to the cards. So yeah, we're doing this to clear the fear, to read the book, to face the fear, to create space and make room to continue on with the YouTuber challenge again. And the YouTube challenge isn't for us to be able to start getting onto YouTube how they're saying and the rest of it. It's for us to prove to ourselves that we can stay focused. It's on our little emojicon book thing up there. It's the focused energies in green. He's got dollar eyes, because when you stay focused, you get money. And you see, to get rid of the limiting financial belief systems, we want to be effing rich. We want to have so much money because we've got a beautiful dream that we can eradicate hunger. But to bring it down a few pegs, because you can't climb from the bottom ring of a ladder to the top ring, you need to have your medium steps to get up that ladder to your medium dreams, little dreams. Oh, that my body like that one. There's another nice click in there. And this is with our bookkeeping skills. So we've attempted to get back into our budgeting again, but we haven't got very far. We're working on the number 22, the master builder number, and percentages. So, and 4, because the 4 is the age of the number stunted of the trauma grades. So there's 4 lots of 22%. 22% for living costs, 22% for taxes, 22% savings, 12% spending, and 22% to give away, which we've already done. Whenever we've had a bit of excess money come in, we'll give some away, because I think we've always accidentally kind of semi-paid for friendships as well, in hindsight and awareness. And that's what brings us back to Rob on another level. Rob taught us the difference between sensuality and sexuality, because of our sexual abuse, there's so many words that are related around to sensuality, but we relate it to sexuality. And so it triggers us. And we commented on that and said, thank you, we've just made a connection. Because obviously enough of us, other ones of us have made that connection. And then the final, I think Rob's like, the dynamics of the relationship and the communication that goes on between Rob is it'll be like enough alters of us alters have it, and then what he produces on his material, because it's to do with the collective energy, what you put out there, consciousness knows, and we're putting so much out there to so many different people because we've got so many different altars to access, that it all comes back. And boy, is it all starting to come back now in different ways. It's fab. It really keeps us going. Like, you know, the loneliness is going out the window, and you know, you really do just embrace the aloneness. So aloneness is different to loneliness. There's still some altars in here that are lonely, hence they're the ones that get us onto here. Otherwise we wouldn't get on here, because they really need to connect. So that's how we started this. So each one's got that gift in the package, even if it's perceived negative. Because if they didn't experience that deep pain and that deep sadness and loss and loneliness, none of this would be happening. And this has to happen to achieve whatever it is that's going on behind the scenes, which we've programmed to go on behind the scenes, because this can't cope. Oh, we were talking about the brain, weren't we? So that's to enable comprehension and communication and functioning. Left brain is past and future, which enables one to function in society and not be stuck in the now state, which the right brain has. And then you've got front and back. I have a processing language disorder, so I'm guessing that the back left is to do with male processing, masculine energy processings. So it might have something to do with number 4, the Emperor card. I've got the patched Jordan River, patched Tarot's wisdom wheel of the brain. Not wisdom wheel, the wisdom wheel's there, but I've got the brain one as well, laminated, and it says it on there, because I was always split down to the left and right hemispheres rather than the 4 quadrants. Well, no, I'll split down to the left and right hemispheres until the psych ward, and the psych ward brings in the left and right hemispheres, the crocodile brain and the bridge. So the left hand right hemispheres have gone into 4, so we're up to 6 rather than 4 now. So there's obviously another 2, there's blatantly another 2 because everything's in 8 in it. Well, it depends. It's in 6 if you've got the 6 of the half of complex stability of the 12 in the physical world reality, that goes up to complex stability in the spiritual world reality, which is 64, the number of the star tetrahedron. We're bringing in a combination of Jane 108 now for the younger ones, and Nassim Haramein in the resonance projects for the older ones to do with the quantum sciences. So the connections we made yesterday, and it took us ages, but we did learn objective and subjective. Objective being an emotion is objective, a feeling is subjective. And the current world at the moment functions on a collective agreement contract, or collective unconscious contract agreement of objectivity and sciences, and don't trust the gut and subjectivity, when actually I think we're going to be moving into more of a dynamics of a subjective world. And so he used those words, luckily, which we knew, because we were like suddenly realized we didn't actually know the difference between honesty and truth. And we won't get into that one now. I don't think that's appropriate. And he said that he felt honesty. They've read these are the messages. We were up again at, like, I think it's getting later. It was 3-ish something, then it was 4-ish something, and we're on the 5s now. Different times relate to different organs in the body. Organs relate to different systems. The new terminology that I hear people talking about with DID is the systems, the host body. But then I've heard some of them say how the host body changes. Whereas in our understanding, the host body is the physical body. But there's obviously, they have a host body in the physical host body that changes. So there must be a host body for different systems, and different systems have different whatevers. And they don't have a completely black, deaf, blind, dumb imagination inside. So they create these big inner worlds, hence the spirituality of gaming. I've not watched that one, of spirituality, but I saw the title.
And hence why so many people game, because anything you do as an outward expression is helping you heal and navigate the complexity of the subconscious mind on an internal level, but without the conscious comprehension of it. Because if you had conscious comprehension of all this stuff that went on, you'd lose it. Like lots of people kind of are going into mental hospitals, because society doesn't accommodate for the evolution that's happening inwardly on people's internal worlds, which is called involution from the Sanskrit philosophy. So yeah, thanks Rob for more clarity with that one. So we might be distracting a little bit from reading the Fear of Fear book. We've done our picture story, we've done our live witnessing of the trauma, and we've answered the door and spoken to a person in physical form, which is always easy for strangers. So we're preparing for ourselves for the last phone call. I hope it's the last phone call. I think it's the last phone call. It's the housing benefits to check that that money's all okay, because we look at the paper and we're not understanding it. And it's like, man, I used to do all this stuff. Do you know how? Can you imagine what it's like for something that you're so good at, really good at, and suddenly, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because I've lived the conscious I at the moment that's talking in the best of our ability to really get clear with language is there's a few of us that function as one in the conscious eyes at the moment to be able to have functioned in society our whole life, not having shown this to anyone, not having been in one place long enough to show it to anyone, until we felt ready and comfortable that we'd found a sense of community on a subconscious level that could maybe do it. Could they? Well, we don't have anyone left, so no. Again, we've got it wrong. Who's the common denominator for all this, which has been one of our phrases? Us, so therefore it's us to blame. No, we need to get out of the blame mentality completely. But if you've got to have a stepping stone, then it's not us this time, it's others. Because we're backwards and we've always projected our pain inwards rather than outwards. So if we have to take a stepping stone to project our pain outwards, which is what I think has been happening, hence we've watched some stuff back and not others, because we're not ready to face that part of us that's hurt other people subconsciously, which I don't know, if I was watching me and watched me go through all this, I'd completely understand why. I'd be like, well, wow, I wouldn't be able to cope with all that. But obviously I can, because it's me. But yet when you've got all this going on, having your body been taken over and you're stuck inside, you're not having an out-of-body experience. I don't get out-of-body experiences or anything like that. Maybe I have had some on drugs or something. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe some of us had. I don't know. I don't remember. Because we've literally got different people inside this one body that each have a bit of the heart, each have a bit of the lung, and have completely separated themselves off, because it's a genius child. It's the genuinity, the geniusness of consciousness to be able to have more and more traumas, to become the best survivor going, to transcend suffering, and to even evolve into the collective dream of heaven on earth, nirvana, compassion. But we can only do that when we have it for ourselves, and we can only have compassion for ourselves if we change our internal dialogue. And we can only change the patterning of our insides and our internal dialogue on the physical level, mental, emotion, because it's all interconnected. People have obviously a certain concept and understanding of imagination if they think someone's making up to create all this, because you need an awful lot of intelligence and an awful lot of energy to make something like this up and keep it going. Quite frankly, it wouldn't be worth it, especially if you don't like being seen and heard, and you don't want any attention. I mean, that doesn't add up to us. So yeah, there's always a few of us functioning at one time. Our internal world's deaf, blind, and dumb, so we don't have the beauty of the imagination to create all this stuff inside, which is another gift. Because if we did, we'd have got lost down the lies and the missed signals that all that visionary stuff can send us, or all the voices can send us. And because of our maths, and because we took maths homework as a soothing thing because of our autism from the age of 7, we grew up with a science teacher and a teacher, and then we did our teaching degree, and we first love was a teacher. And our gift is we're empathic, and we absorb other people's pain, but we absorb other people's beautiful minds and hearts and informations, because that's how we've learned about ourselves. And there's a lot of us to learn. It's the moon's rising up now in 11 minutes. It's 11:24:35. So 11:35 UK time, the moon's rising. So we invite in Grandma Moon's energy, please. We'll have to look up. It must be, let's not look up. Let's look it up in our mindful of knowledge. If the Grandma Moon is related to the internal body, and the sun's the external body, the sun's the light, the active, the doing, the male, the dark is the female, the receptive. When the female dark receptive is rising up during the day, not nighttime, you don't have the extra intense dark energy. You've got a lightness to it. Oh, we like that interpretation. We're not going to look it up. We're going to keep that. Which leads us back to Cindy earlier, and the grey hair and the bald heads have been too much in the mind. Cindy was saying how she doesn't like to look. She started learning about it now because obviously it's been touched on. She's kept away from it. And then bits come in, but she didn't like to learn about astrology and other things like that, because sometimes when you get too much knowledge in a certain area, it actually limits you, because you're following, and this then links in our bit of you're following someone else's experience, then you're following someone else's words. So you can't really get your own true experience and your own true words, hence why we've not qualified fully in anything we've done. But we did the hardest yoga course in the world, Iyengar Yoga, twice. And no, we didn't pass it and get the qualification, but we passed the bit we needed to pass that no one thought we would pass. And that's our personal practice, because we had the teaching bit down to a T, but we couldn't do the personal practice. And no wonder all my beautiful yoga teachers couldn't get it, because my body kept shifting its pattern. So all my issues and weaknesses kept changing. So again, I was making up the pain, or I was being over dramatic, or I was being this, or I was being that. Because it's easier to pass blame on the other than it is to wake up to your own limiting belief systems. Plus, accidentally, we do look at people that are more vulnerable as weaker. So if someone is proving to be more vulnerable than you at that time, and we tend to forget past experiences generally until something triggers it, because we've learned everything, all the beautiful things that we say or do is what we've learned from other people telling us. But then suddenly, oh, we can see you, yep, we see you, feel you. Oh no, we don't see you and feel you anymore. Because they're not ready to go there in themselves. Why? Because they're on that scale of denial as well, because everyone has denial. All these perceived negative things are our friends. They serve us until they don't serve us. We've learned that from Bitcoin. The trend's your friend until it ends. God, those Bitcoin YouTubers. We've got a nice selection of them. They're very entertaining to watch, I tell you. And that taught us emotional resilience. And we're learning another level of emotional resilience now. And we've learned many levels of emotional resilience from being a humanitarian aid worker, from traveling the world on our own, from converting our self-converted camper van into this beautiful work of art, not just a camper van, with a window box and a porch and a stained glass windows. That was all completely stealth, because you're a girl living in it on your own, so you just want it to look like a delivery van if you're in it with the roller down. And that's where we've actually had some good run-ins with the police, because we've had quite a few bad run-ins with the police. But whenever we had run-ins with the police to do with the van, it was beautiful. Why? Because they open up something that they think is a delivery van, and suddenly it's like, whoa, that's stunning. And then this girl comes out. After we're parked up in one of the car parks close on cliffs, further along down in Cornwall, and they purposely parked up and then walked over and asked to kind of come in and have it out. They were like, well inspired and all of it. We've inspired loads of people with the van, actually, and that's what we've done our whole life. We've always inspired people our whole life, so we've got to continue inspiring people our whole life. So we're not the common denominator to blame. Our gift is that we're empathic. We feel others, we mirror others with our autism and the DID, and that's fine. People like being mirrored their good points, but they don't like being reflected their bad points, do they? Hence why when it got to a point of us reflecting their bad points, we probably didn't have them in our life anymore. But we were always on the move. Even when we settled down here, we're always in the move, living in our van. settled down a bit with Snail, got the home on our back, go wherever we want, whenever we want, which served a purpose, because whenever we house sat, it was such a effing nightmare because you have to drive to a place and back. It was like the amount of time it uses up driving somewhere and back again, especially when in your van, it costs a fortune. Oh, and we're in a van and we never had much money, but we should have had money and been saving it, being a bookkeeper. But that's because of how much bloody money we were spending on therapies to manage all our physical pains and ailments, or spending on self-development workshops. But we started on free ones to start with initially down in Penzance. They were a boon. And that's where one of the guys on that, they were deeply spiritual, but they weren't really spiritual, being self-awareness then and connected to nature. But they had to, because it was free because they got grants. But to accommodate and they were smart, to accommodate the grants, you have to say, well, this covers like English skills level 1 and 2, and this covers this, blah, 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 to put it into that context of the academic system. But really what they're doing is getting people to tap into the understanding of themselves more. So yeah, we've been on the self-awareness journey properly since we were 18, so 22 years again. We started doing it with groups because we knew that if we wanted to keep moving forward again, we went self-employed in 2011, coming up to 10 years now. But to keep doing what one needs to do, they have to keep progressing. So first of all, I had to start doing group stuff. So these free workshops came up at exactly the right time down in Penzance. Then we started doing the women within level 1, level 2, because that was a bigger amount of people. And it was all women. And we had real issues with women. We grew up with 2 men and we had real issues with women and connecting to women. I mean, now we find it easier to connect with women and have bigger issues with men. Well, actually, no. I think we're just having issues with humans full stop at the moment, because we keep relapsing into our autism and into the deep autistic states, which is a scary place to go to. But it's okay, because they're not going to feed us any medication, because we've refused it before, and we've actually got the evidence of refusing it and how we didn't need it and how it gives us an allergic reaction. So at least we've got that box ticked off, so they can't force no effing C virus vaccine down us, because I swear I don't know how much more of this I could take. That's it though. We've got the linear New Year of society gone. The next New Year, I think, is the Chinese New Year, which is in February sometime. But I think it might be, so the next stepping stone might be our entry into the psych ward on the 5th of February. Then it's going to be, I think, maybe the New Year, Chinese New Year, when we're in there. World Sound Healing Day on the 14th. Goodness knows what our altars have got planned for that. There's been so much stuff going around our head this morning when we've been in our locked in positions. Then there'll be the 18th of Feb that we got ourselves out. And then the major new beginning, new year, new starting point for us of spring in harmony with Mother Nature. So we will have aligned ourselves enough, and there will then be aligning with Mother Nature. And hopefully we'll be able to get on to buying some sleepers for the garden so that all our raised beds will be ready to go. Got all the paving slabs down by a 59-year-old gardener. She's awesome. She used to live in a van too. She's amazing. Yeah, you can only recognize something else that you can see. You only recognize something in someone else, perceived good or bad, that you've got in yourself. That's another good teacher. So we're effing amazing too. Yeah, I know we get really uncomfortable after we do that, because it brings up us feeling like we're big-headed but we're not big-headed at all. We talk things down. Oh, that means we're even better than amazing. You're the smart ass one. Take something else. So yeah, we're practicing, getting comfortable being seen and heard, doing the sphere thing, doing the YouTube thing to get us focused, to get us organised. Plus there's a mindful of knowledge in there as well. Plus we'll get the VIP thing sorted. So we'll have a lifetime guarantee of going back to the videos and doing it within our own time and not feeling rushed and extra stressed. We'll be letting our lunar living go. We'll be letting our portal go. We've still got all the courses that we've already done with Lee House Energy that we can do all again. We'll start on our 44-day meditations, sacred contracts, sacred connections. We've got to do our sacred contract too, though, and soul shine, so that everything we've already done, we'll do it again and we'll repeat it. And we know that we're too fast. We're a triple Aquarius. We're a sun and moon Aquarius, and that's the forward thinkers, the future thinkers. Then we've blessed the ones of us that are too slow, stuck in our past, but we're an Aquarius South Node, which is your past karma. So we know then it's going to get to a point where we can just rest and slow down, which will probably be, I think it'll be at the end of our 108-day challenge. Because lo and behold, check out this alignment on the numbers. We started the rebirth thing and the YouTube challenge yesterday, and it's day 48 of our 108-day meditative self-aligning story time challenge. And 48 is the number of financial discipline. Oh yeah, and then we were talking about the 22% in our budgeting and taxes and figuring that all out. 22% we're going to give it away, because people don't give away not because they've just got the limiting belief system that they haven't got anything, and it's that, which started first, the chicken or the egg, because you haven't got anything because you've got the limited belief system, but you've got the limited belief system that gets reinforced because you haven't got anything. So we're going to give money away to people, and so it's like a pay it forward scheme. And they don't have to do this, but we will put in our knowledge and why we're doing it, and we'll put in the multiversal laws of nature. So you can choose not to do what we are inviting you to do. But, be aware if you do choose this, there could be some complications coming into play. And, so we'll give 22% of whatever money we get away, and then they give 22% of that money away. So if there's let's say we suddenly became a millionaire somehow. Out of that £1 million, we've oh my God, we've got to do our maths now, haven't we? 220,000? Is that it? We're not going to check. We're not going to try and figure out. We're just going to trust it, and we can be corrected if it's not, and we can check. So we'll give away 220,000, and out of that 220,000, there'd be 44,000. So maybe it's 440,000. So no, okay, let's do this properly. 22% of 100 is 22. Oh, so that is right. Good. So on the 220,000 is right on $1 million. So if we were to give 22% away of 220,000, we'd work that out at 22%, 10%, which is 22,000 times 2, 44, plus 4.4. It's the numbers, 44-day meditation again. So that would be 48.4 thousand on the 220,000 that person would then give away. So there'd be, nice sums of money being given away here, until it got down to a certain amount, and then you'd buy someone dinner, and then you'd buy them lunch, and then you'd buy them a coffee. So that it really goes down on this scheme. So it's like a pyramid scheme, it's like a chain letter, but it's the good points of it all. And the main reason for this is to tap people into the difference between religion and our definition of spirituality, and academia, and our definition of understanding how to teach oneself how to learn to really progress into their Steiner, their own true authentic gifts and skills. So academia is regurgitation of memory. Religion is living someone else's experience. And especially when you're interpreting and translating, it's Chinese whispers. Stuff gets lost in text, stuff gets lost in the way people translate and their own personal attachment to words. So in giving this money to someone, they're not going to lose out, because they're not taking any money out of their pocket to give to someone. So they've been given money. It's like, sweet, yeah, okay, I'll take that bit and give that bit away, because I've still got this amount of money, and that's sweet as. And then they'll give that money to someone, and they'll get to experience and see in the body what it feels like to actually give something to someone else that really needs it. because the amount of emotion and overwhelm and gratitude from someone that's in desperation financially, and you give them money, you just feel it and it makes you feel so good. And how amazing would it be to be able to be in that position and do that for others? I just think it'd be incredible. So yeah, that's one of our stepping stones down from the eradicating hunger. Because I mean, you've got something like all these companies. It only stems down to a handful of companies that own the world, and you're getting more and more people now who have got money understanding this principle. But still, the richest people in the world could eradicate hunger, not by going and being food aid work and bringing fish out to people. I mean, teaching people how to fish so they can get their own fish. But if you're in the desert and you haven't got anywhere fishing, you've got to think up a new analogy. So what I mean is to go to that country, to find the people in that country that have the same heart as you, the same dreams as you, to see the culture of that country, the religions, the philosophies, the climate, every single individual need of that country and the people so they can run it, to then develop a symbiosis between the people, between the country, and with nature. Because like we need the bacteria in our bodies, and I've learned so much about bacteria with what the young'uns do and stuff in the house. Oh my God, one time they left our Thai herbs that we got for our nerve touch Thai massage from Thailand in the bath. And we were too physically not able to do anything, which is normally the starting point. And then the next point is, it's gone so far it gets too smelly that we can't do anything because we can't cope with the smell. Then it gets to the texture and we can't cope with the texture. And this is all the overstimulations of the autism. To finally, that we've charged ourselves up enough with meditation and whatever else that we can finally gag ourselves up with masks, put gloves on, hold our breath, and then needs to do what needs to be done. But we had some the Thai herbs were in the bath water. They were stinking of this rotten pond water. What's that remind me of now? The hot pools in New Zealand. And all that sulfur. Oh, we're back to the sulfur and the sulfur detox, and us eating the matches to do with Lee Harris with the, oh my God, it's coming together beautifully. Oh, I love you, body. I love you, brain. I love you all. Ah. It's just all worth it for these bits of relief we feel to get ready for the next bit of relief. Living on your fight, flight, freeze your whole life ain't no way to live. And then time will pass. And then more knowledge will pop in. So if I'm hypersensitive on the nose and on this, that, the other, what's happening when that's rotting? It's producing bacteria. Oh, I have bowel issues. Oh, that's to do with personality traits and moods and how it speaks to the brain. Oh, well, that's what DID is about. It's just all interconnected. And so that whole process that the subconscious and the dissociation and the blackout and whatever's happening to produce this scenario, to get bacteria in through the nose, to help our intestines, to help the whole constructive feedback loop of information in of the senses and then out, because that's then going in of the senses. But for us, that's the information and the data that we need, the information going in through taste and nose. But we can't do the rest of it like most people say, oh, do it in your head first before you open your mouth. It's like we've already been told not to be seen and heard as a kid. So we've lost our ability to release trauma in the physical body through movement and sound, which we're developing again now. And then you meet people that say this to you. So when you do finally meet people and you open up and then they shun you down again, it just locks those doors straight back in to put more layers of concrete around such a beautiful heart that wants to share and has so many amazing, wild, out there, but beautiful dreams that can help humanity. Because in the long run, we also know that helps us. And that's the whole thing of being human, to give. But we've got to reverse the roles so that the empaths learn how to start giving to themselves now. And the others that don't feel that and don't get empaths and say that it's pseudoscience and the rest of it need to start learning to give rather than absorbing. And no one's to blame. It's just how the fundamental principles of fractal geometry and energy works. Hence why the North and South Pole are shifting. Heart Math Institute, Nassim Haramein. So much information out there now for you to go look for yourselves and do your own research. Is what everyone should do. Best to do. Get rid of the shoulds. If it's a should, it's an external belief system. But we're still working with our language. We're dancing with a lot. We prefer to say dancing rather than working, because working implies there's an effort. And if failure, trying's a really bad word. Trying implies to your subconscious you're going to fail, even though fail's good, because if you fail, it means you learn from failure, but only if you know that metaphor. Okay, right, we're getting on it now. We're going to read the book, and then go. We've connected us enough that I can feel us going from the low autistic states up into the high states. So I wonder if that does mean that about passing it on, pass it on to someone. Sunset. Time here turns to release and unfurl old cords of pain. There's no full stop there, is there? No, it's a capital letter. Time here turns to release and unfurl. I'm not sure what unfurl means, but something maybe unravel, unfold. Old cords of pain fade as the sun's light burns. So we used to not be able to breathe, especially for our left nostril. It used to physically burn if oxygen went into it, and then down here as well. But this is where we've got all the issues, because that's where we've had our scar tissue from the jaw operation on our jaw, hence the shape of our mouth and the drooping. Phoenix rising from the ashes, forest fires in Australia, and humans getting so upset about it. It's nature. Nature needs it. If you're going to get upset about it, don't build on floodplains. Don't build in areas where this happens. Or if you're going to, be smart and put principles and things in place where you can deal with it. I mean, was it Queenstown? Used to kind of get into shutdown if it snowed in the town. It's a ski resort, a snowboarding village. But of course, it's up the mountains where it happens. So when we're in areas where the climate's not that extreme, and I'd live out there, and you're hearing about what's it called, heat burn? No, when it gets really hot in the summer. An Indian summer? No, it's got a word to it. Oh, I can't think of it. But you know what I mean? When it gets really hot and the railway tracks are melting. And it's like, boy, we've never had any of them when I was over there that I remember. Maybe one of the others do. But this is why we are meant to look to the people that are different, look to the cultures that are different, look to the systems that are different. I mean, isn't it Norway and Sweden and Germany, they're excellent on certain educational and schooling policies. And then you've got other places that are really good, like England just works you to the bone. It's proven that if you bring people in to give massage and reflexology into the workplace, it produces a better working environment for the body, and they produce better work. Have a shorter day, have a flexible day, so people that are better functioning in the evenings can start later. But I think what's happening at the moment with the C word, all of this is what's starting. People are looking for solutions to the problems. I mean, I had my doctor come around here, bless him, with like Reiki symboled the whole house up and all kinds of things. So he was on the rocking chair, and they have big black doctor bags. What do we remember? I remember asking him if I could smoke a joint, all the things we just wouldn't do. And him saying, well, what's the solution? And it's like, I'm coming to you for help. You're here to help me. You're meant to give me the solution to make me feel better. But of course, then we find the solutions, and we're finding solutions. That's what we do. It's what we've done our whole life. And I suppose this is our modality of communicating it, because we can't do it in physical person. And I know there's the belief systems then of like, why do people put pictures of their food on Facebook? And it's like, well, we've done it, the younger ones, because we're effing proud that we've managed to cook when we haven't even been able to manage to eat. We just got to stop being judgmental, or turn the judgmental, go, okay, I'm being judgmental about this. I've heard that when I'm judgmental, it's actually a teacher to me and a guide to me, that there's something in me that I need to look at, and to have the courage to look at that.
Sun time.
Entirely rising now. So we've done the sunset. The stone wall, bless this space. Your sacred space holds the soul to bear Palo Santo or sage. Oh, to bear Palo Santo or sage will clear the air. We cleanse and bless the space for ages. But you see, again, this is why, thankfully, we're just starting to let go of all our tarot readers, because all the information they're coming out with, we've been doing for ages. And it's like, aren't you meant to know that? But they know the stuff that we didn't know, that we've now absorbed, or actually some of us did know, but the ones of us that didn't know, those ones have meditated and put the information out there into the time-space field, the electromagnetic field of Earth consciousness, so that then the information can come back in through the other people that they can access, which is why we've had to go to so many different people. So, I mean, our Earth grid of self-development people and our Earth grid of people that we've met from the countries we've travelled, and then the Earth grid of the people we've met in the countries that we've travelled that move back to their other country, we must have a beautiful network to do. I mean, if I could figure out how to figure that out on this, I would. I still can't even figure out how to check back to all my comments and stuff and so. But yeah, we've got a lot to go with technology. Oh, I don't know, maybe doing this, someone might do it, but one of the things was we could learn about ourselves if we could get everyone that we've ever met, whether it's just a stranger that's seen our van Yinny, down to someone that we've been really good friends with, to share their story and how they knew us. And then to take it a bit deeper, to share how we potentially hurt them. And not just to blame and say that, but to say, we used to perceive you hurting us because when you did this, I felt like this, but I now know from watching you that you were going through this, and that reflects this to me, and I've learned this from it, and thank you. Because each time I always do my best to thank anyone and everyone we've ever come into contact, whether it's perceived negative, good, bad, whatever, because it's making us who we are now today. And I feel we're turning into a really beautiful human being. Because when I discovered that the personality gets developed around 6 or 7, which is also another philosophy of when the soul memory leaves the body, I was like, well, holy fuck, I've got no chance. Our trauma started at 4 and below. Time passed, more meditation, more self-awareness, more whatevers, more dives inwards to the depths of my subconscious psyche on our journey of evolution internally, involution. Our shamanic initiation, our vision quest. Got a beautiful Native American vision quest blanket. Oh, hold on a minute. I know that this is all us, all these different personalities that are going on. So, and Aquarius are meant to be cold, but we've got a beautiful, warm, open heart. But we've also got that ability to detach literally so much in the physical body that we've made up all these other personalities and separated it physically in the body that we now have to put it all back together again, which is exceptionally painful. Hence why it took us so long to get back in that bath again this time, because the last bath was agony and this one wasn't as bad. So that's good. All the experiences, I think we've reached the climax of all the really extreme painful stuff in the physical, mental, emotional and sexual body. Will probably still be a while away, because I'm sure it's going to be a while before we meet anyone on that level again, if we can't even let humans in that are meant to be safe for us. It's like down to our gardener at the moment, which is what, she didn't come yesterday, so it will be 3-4 weeks since I set that doorman. That's the first human interaction we've had in about 2.5-3 weeks, apart from this. Otherwise we don't speak to anyone else, we don't see anyone else, we don't communicate with anyone else unless it's through words. And that's not us communicating when we do it through words. There's some kind of auto thought language going on. It's different, and we need to do this. Hence the different channels, because depending what channel we're on depends which system, team of alters is being accessed. This one actually encompasses all of it, I think. Shinto self-empowerment encompasses more of the therapist, psychologists, the adult ones, to be giving to others in more of a professional manner, but it does have a few of the younger ones in there. I don't know if that's a mistake, but obviously if we think it's a mistake, it's not a mistake, because everything that's done is the subconscious doing stuff for a reason. We might just not know what the reason is yet. And then the Neve Deborah Coleman one is the host body, the birth given name, that has a lot more of the chaos expressed in it. Passages, fractal geometry, the door within the door within the door within the door. Oh, Groundhog Day, I've perceived from the external. Maybe Groundhog Day, but it's only because you've not delved into your Groundhog Day enough. Sorry, I think there's little bits coming out here of people that have said to us stuff to us that's in really inappropriate situations that have made life exceptionally harder for us, that we've accidentally put on pedestals, and now we realise that no one deserves to be put on a pedestal except for yourself, and to have the courage to do the work, to dance your own dance with the shadow dance of life, and to find the fun shadow tools. We're going to have lots of them coming out, I tell you. Passages, spiritual signs of inclination. You're walking through passages of your transformation. The sacred lotus, compassion in action. And I'm pretty sure com is French for with. So compassion is with passion. And it doesn't matter what your career, what your walk of life, when you do it with passion, and to do it with passion means you have to do it from the heart, then it's art. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a painting or a drawing or singing or writing or any right brain stuff. You can produce maths or science with passion, and then that's art because it's coming from your heart. Compassion action, the chosen tool. I see now the lotus in your spirit's jewel. It looks like a Spanish villa type house or door, doesn't it? I don't know why Spanish, not Morocco. Spanish is maybe a bit more subtler on the colours, isn't it? Morocco's are beautiful. I love Morocco, but it's more bold. We've never been one for pastel colours. I wonder what that says about us. We're probably not very subtle. Well, I do know the second doctor, because when the really good doctor, he was a trainee when we first went to him, and then he left. Oh, we were devastated. So we went to another doctor who had a lovely personality but was older. And he's the one that said we were wrong about the 10th cranial nerve, and yeah, caused a lot of extra stress. And then the other trainee doctor came back, and he's a partner in the company now. He's a beautiful man. Well, they're all beautiful people their own way, but he's a beautiful man that's really, younger. And I don't know, but I know with their younger yoga teacher training, that there's doctors that are going to do yoga teacher training now, not yoga teacher training, they could be, but they go to do yoga classes to see the effects on stress, and then they start prescribing it. So even the NHS system is changing in its ways of delivering, not always just doing prescriptions and being money based and money focused, because the pharmaceutical country or companies, is money based. And there's a lot of lies told out there about clinical trials, not so much intentional lies, but when you don't have a one level baseline of a chemical makeup, you can't do a proper clinical trial. And humans are all so different. They all have different baselines. So until someone out there, which the younger generation will, because the younger generation will have this natural evolved consciousness in their brain because they're more in tune to the subtler energetic bodies, because they've come out when all this higher vibrational technology and ability to communicate through the virtual web has been about. So snowflake, my darlings, is not a derogatory term, it's a compliment. They will be able to produce this new information to go, okay, well, if everyone's got a different baseline to start on, we have to figure out something to find that different baseline to start on. Because I'm not saying medication's bad. I'm just saying it causes more harm, and they don't know it like they say they know it. But when they know what the baseline is, they'll be able to do proper clinical trials on people, because they've figured out people's own natural biochemistry and their baseline to then figure out the rest of it that goes on. And then hopefully they'll develop it even more to be able to test medication with other medications. Because yes, I believe in all this natural healing and alternative and through nature and stuff, but it's not for everyone. And it's not what I'm saying that it needs to be for everyone. What I'm saying is that we need to find solutions of not being money focused and orientated, living from our hearts more. Well, we're on this then. Let's just quickly answer. It's good that we started this without doing it. Only if we can find it easy, because we've done it once in the comments and we were going to go back to the comments to answer it again. But it'd be great if we could just answer it fresh without having to go into the comments. Day one challenge. Who is our channel for? Well, we're saying who our channel's for, and it's for quite a diverse group of people that suffer mental and physical labels, for anyone that wants to connect to their heart more, for anyone that's a therapist or a researcher that wants a very rare individual that's got a lot of rare titles into one unique package of rare titles, but has found a way of letting go of all things and facing the pain with transparency and honesty and truth, both from an objective and a subjective perspective, so that we can make the world a better place to live in and live within ourselves, so that Mother Gaia and us can all harmonise, and our bacteria systems and community and a cellular system of our body can make these bodies heal ourselves. And for the people out there that don't have the strength for whatever reason, and that's okay, but we can facilitate them having a happier, easier life, because we're getting our knowledge bases and from a heart level knowledge, a right brain rather than a left brain. What problem does this channel solve? I think we've covered that one as well, haven't we? What problem does this channel solve? It solves the problem of separation, and how separation hurts all of you in your bodies, and it hurts the people you love most, and it hurts Mother Gaia, who we're living on and we need. 12 o'clock, complex stability coming into play. How is this channel different? I think it says it all, doesn't it? We're completely unedited, raw, and organic. With courage and strength, of being seen and heard, with our vulnerabilities that go down to the deepest depths of our psyche and our heart. But not completely. There has been the worse than this that you've not seen, because we know that some people can't handle that. Why should someone subscribe? Okay, well, which way should we do it first? Why should someone subscribe? We have to live by the rules that the others live by. And what do we say about that? Well, we say that anything that anyone ever says or does is their subconscious attempting to get a message to their conscious. So what you put out there is what you get back. So if you're really being triggered by something and you really don't like it and send them a heart, because then you'll start getting that back. So, but if you're someone that's not able to do stuff for yourself and you can't get that philosophy around your head, which is quite understandable, it's taken us ages, but you can see we're hurting, then send us some love so that we can achieve our dream for heaven on earth, nirvana, a more beautiful, harmonic, happy place to live in our bodies, in our homes, in our communities, in our countries, globally. Which is what so many spiritual leaders, teachers, people out there are saying. But we don't want to be a leader like that. We want to be a leader of example by walking our talk, aligning our actions with our words. Monkey see, monkey do. Because we want to be a mum. And we don't want to pass any of this subconscious shit onto our kids. And maybe we are getting too old for it. Maybe we're not. That goes on to a whole other lot of topics and conversations. But either way, there's so many people out there that need adopting and need fostering. There's many ways of being a parent and a mum. But first, I've got to be able to find a lover, a father, of whatever context. And the only way I'm going to be able to track someone in that obviously has the very high standard values and morals that we have is by getting the common denominators within inside all of us to agree and function as one. Which brings us back to the personalities. So I am all the personalities. I know that. And I understand even the ones that do the stuff that's perceived as dark or wrong or horrid, because they've just been doing what they know to do from their understanding of protecting us. And it's never got so dark that we've really physically hurt anyone, although we did slap someone when we were younger in school. We're really sorry for that, by the way. And then said, sorry, we can't punch afterwards. There was a bit of group energy dynamics going on there. But since that, we haven't done it unless we've been intoxicated. And even then, when we've done it being intoxicated, we lessened that. when we got told about it, or stop the thing that provoked it, or whether it be beer or something else. And that taught us that we can survive on our own. If we do get met down a dark alley with anyone that's going to contradict us again, that we wouldn't allow it to happen, and we probably would kill them if it got to that point of survival. Hence why it needed 8 people to restrain a body that's not eaten or drunk for however long. Because we've got such a rare, unique gift to be the best survivor going. Jack of all trades, master of none, best survivor going. But we can't say like that no more. So we're going to turn into the best thriver going. And we're going to bring as many people that want to join us on this journey along with it, along with us. I don't know how that's going to unfold, but I know it's got something to do with all of this. The Odyssey. Take in the beauty of country lands and botany. Explore the wonder like a gypsy traveller's odyssey. We had some gypsies asked to buy our van once. Should have sold it to them then. Probably would have got more money for it. We loved that van though. We never wanted to part with it. But that's probably because we don't make artistic creations very much. And the idea is you make, I know now that the next one we make is going to be amazing. And we got this down to a T as well. 7-tonner van, a big horse 7-tonner. Start in Canada, kit it out, have a back bit that goes down so you can have a whole back patio, not just a porch behind a roller, but you've got a back patio and a side door so it can completely be opened up, and some kind of roofing so we can see the stars. Oh, we said we always say we, don't we? I'm sure when we said we though, we had a lover involved in that one. Maybe so, I don't know. Nomad, the house we're going to live in as well. It's going to be amazing. But then our designers that will have like a yurt, a teepee. The Lotus Bower ones are great, but an earth ship, a tree house, all kinds of different self-builds so that you can have like and grow all your food so that people can come along and see what it's like to do a technology detox or be self-sufficient. But, you know, we would keep the stress down. So people had to come and pick their own food, or they had to come and do this or that. But I think now I understand this dream even better. It'll probably be for different ones of us in this one body to go and have time out in different environments and spaces. Nomad, the nomadic wanderer, the vagus nerves, nicknamed the Wanderer, lies deep inside the vagus nerve. Told you, the vagus nerve is the connection to the crown chakra, and the vagus nerve is the masculine and feminine, and you have to connect the both and link them to get that balance between the two, because you need the part and you need the whole. You may be starting from the whole and you have to go into the parts to understand it, or you may be starting the parts and need to go into the whole. You may be an external male body with an internal male body, or you may be an external male body with an internal female body, meaning the mass energies. We're going to stop there now. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. We're not crawling back and hiding, but we are. Should we put them back in? See if it comes out again? No, we want a new one. Did we read that one? Did we read this one? It's the one that was turned around in the pack that we didn't know about when we were going to choose one for all of us, whoever comes to this video. Hummingbird song. Nectar of sweetness. Enjoy it brings. The hummingbird's healing as medicine it sings. That's another card to pass on as well. Oh, three-eyed raven on the bottom. On the mystical shaman, it's the white raven, isn't it? It's like, as sunrise hits upon the dew, a messenger raven calls out with news. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Doesn't say pass card on. It says prepare for the unexpected. It's not really what we wanted to read right now. We're not. Well, we have been preparing for the unexpected. And at the top, offerings. It's reminding us of going to Angkor Wat temples now. We spent 3 days around them. Oh, that was a good release. Abundance lies in the heart that allows. Abundance lies in the heart that allows. Share more than expected and see love come around. So that's the spectrum of energies that we're working in. So, okay. Beautiful subatomic energies, rainbow electromagnetic fields. Let's globally start the Gandhi quantum ripple effect so everyone can be the change they see in the world, starting from the inside out. Unless you're someone that's worked on the inside lots and then you need to start on the outside. Vice versa. What's your unique mathematical formula to happiness? Watch and be inspired. Watch, be triggered. Learn what you need to learn for your teachers if you're struggling. What's the door? Oh, it looks like that. Looks like a cute Moroccan one. We did have Moroccan tea. Intuition. Simple. That's what we find hardest. Complex. That's us down to a T. Words of pain or words that heal. That's what we do our best to get the words that heal, but it's sharing our pain. You come to know truth by the way that it feels, and we are fully living that experience. Thank you, card. So the top, the conscious, aware, seeing a spectrum of energies that we're dancing in, spectrum of frequencies that we're dancing within. Change beckons. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Do not be alarmed as change beckons today. And then the bottom card. Yes! She shouts to the moon and the stars and the skies. Kiss the ground and touch the sky. Your soul is set now to leap and fly. So, and then there's heart healing there on the bottom after that. And on the top after that, it's the three-eyed raven again. I didn't see the top of that card. So the subconscious energy before has just come to the top. Then we get to a boring politician-looking door. Kind of reminds me of number 10 in the UK. Okay, last bit of drink. The drink's in front of the book's called Foraging, Edible Mushrooms, Foraging, Shaking Medicine, of which our knees do at the moment. It's the oldest and newest form of medicine. Essential oils and herbal medicine, and aromatherapy healing through the spirit. Neil's Yard's remedies and the healing herbs. Okay, we ready to do this, guys? God, the days go so quick. I can't believe that it's gone 12. It's 12:11. We've been up since 4:30 or something. 7 hours of. No, it's better than how it has been. Yes. So what is it we've got to do? Because this is going to trigger us again. So let's get the list prepared. We've got to eat food. There was the idea, but it doesn't have to be if it's too much, of going to the shop. But the shop will come after us making the phone call to housing benefits. When does the housing benefits come in? We've got to eat food, clean our teeth and wash. You always say that we'll clean our teeth after we eat food, and we never do. And your excuse is because of the peppermint taste, but we now have 5 different flavour toothpastes that doesn't affect this. 12 now, double dose of complexability. That doesn't affect, that's 24 if you go into Jane 108 and the 24 codes. And then we've got, because it's day 48 yesterday, which means there's 60 days left, and there's the 60 code thingy on the maths as well. He makes it so fun. He's such an artist as well as a mathematician. He's beautiful. I bet the buildings he built was real good. And he does some of his courses with the sea behind him or the rainforest behind him. So I reckon we clean our teeth before. Hopefully we've now loosened everything up enough that we can clean our teeth properly with roasting. We'll do some more cold water therapy, and in the mouth cold water therapy. That's also with the cleaning of the teeth, isn't it? That's why I use the baby toothbrushes, because they're smaller heads and they're softer, and the younger ones in us hold on too tight. And we're not allowed to buy the toothbrush we really want because it's £80 and it's not a toothbrush. It's a thing that you just hold in your mouth like that, which is really good for us, for the posture, but also it's getting really sore up there. Also for it uses sound. I can't remember how much sound what the kilohertz is, but it uses sound to clean your teeth basically. But we're not allowed that until we've got our teeth cleaning skilled and sorted and regular, which we are a lot better. I swear we only miss the odd day now, whereas before it'd go 3 weeks or something without being able to clean our teeth, and longer sometimes with washing. Very embarrassing to be able to say all that, but we have to share ourselves completely. not fully, completely, or I don't know, we need to share ourselves. I don't know how much we shared already. Well, we've pretty much shared ourselves down to the naked body in public and in the bathroom with whatever anyway. So yeah, why not continue it with the conscious awareness? So clean our teeth, wash, eat, because if we eat, I swear that will help us with the phone call. Why? It's like a car, isn't it? You don't get it, do you? If you put car doesn't run without petrol. Food, yeah, fuel. Okay, so clean teeth and wash. Wash first, because when you wash with cold water first, that contracts the body. If the body gets contracted, that creates slack, which means that it'll create slack in the mouth, and the mouth won't hurt as much to clean the teeth. Okay, cool. So wash, which ends in a cold water therapy, clean teeth, eat, phone call, and then see what progresses. Numbers: wash, cold water therapy, clean teeth, eat. 4. Perfect. Okay. What have we got down here? White birch, passion. We've been talking about passion, haven't we? Okay, we've got put passion on our left wrist, which we alternate to our right neck and then up to our left temple. And that is neroli, jasmine, and ylang ylang. Oh my God, we love that smell. We love all of them. We love jasmine, ylang ylang, and neroli. We be making jasmine and parsley and calendula tea with the jasmine out of our garden. We've then got sweet dreams. We're going to put that on our right, because our right's our past and all the trauma and our exhaustion and our tiredness. Up to the left. And as we do this, we're massaging our lymph gland as well, which releases all the toxins in the body. And be gentle and slow and soft, because it's our collarbone, which affects the figure of 8 energy patterns in the body, and the sit bones, which affects that left hip from the torn sacrum on the left, which affects the left vagus nerve, which is why we can't fully rest, because it needs to be ripped apart on the scar tissue, and then we need to sew it back up again, weave it back together. Hence all the books again that we read out loud. And up to the right. And we're doing our own unique version of yoga mudras, connecting the circuits of the body, of the external body, between hands and feet. And when you're doing it on the internal body, it's your tongue to your teeth, because each teeth represents a different meridian, a different system in the body, and this tongue connects the circuit. Hence, when you do qigong, you put the tongue behind the ridge of your mouth to do the front flow of the body, which we can't do because we had a tongue piercing and a lip piercing and a navel piercing and a left nipple piercing, which has already produced scar tissue, making those circuits extra hard to connect as well. That smells lovely too. Lavender, ylang ylang, and chamomile. So we've got the ylang ylang connecting the left and right there, frequencies, which is good. Are we meant to have any of this? Why? I feel like we're not meant to. Not on body, on clothes. On clothes, okay. Can you share why? Breathe easy, breathe easy. Well, we've got breathe easy over there. No, don't want that one, don't want that one. It's just the words to help you understand. Okay, so we need this to help us be able to breathe better. And it also helps heal the emotional attachments and wounds that we have to do with hospitals, because it smells clinical. Okay, thank you. We've got aragonite here, which is, I think it's strength and support. And it's our left that needs strength and support, because it's our altars
that have kept us going our whole life. And there are past, which we want to grow up so that past and future can meet present. So we can present past and present. Oh, toy. X E T R O V. X E T R O V. E.T. phone home. X-E-T. X-E-T. Exit. Exit. X silent when you got xylophone. Etrov. Vortex backward. Etrov. When we speak out loud and communicate our feelings, it helps heal. It helps the physical pain go away. Some people aren't able to speak out loud their feelings. Maybe they don't have the words or the right wiring in the brain to facilitate it. Maybe they just don't know how they feel. Shungite. Put that to our heart. Shungite circles for our laptop. Beautiful Felicity. Here we go. Help the electromagnetic stuff that comes out of you that's not so serene. We got pyramids here. We think that yellow, we're not sure, it might be orange. They go down top too. Is that blue or indigo? Not sure, that's bottom on the picture on bottom. I think it's indigo. I think it's third eye, not blue. No, third eye got a picture of an eye in, so that must be throat. So we got throat and solar plexus, they go down to our top two. And hearts, we'll put the broke again. We broke a lot of our crystals, but crystals meant to break, you know. We never knew that. We get upset. But when a crystal breaks and stuff, it means it's done its job. We're going to put one on each of the circles so that the love energies from our crystals can pass through the rainbow electromagnetic fields into these crystals and go into the technology, but it's got shungite to purify it along the way. So no viruses. No viruses from us accidentally to you, and no viruses from the computer accidentally to you. Do you need this one out? That was amethyst, an amethyst point. What does that mean? I think we've got enough of our own psychic abilities that we don't need any help on that. Ding ding! I think that's a signal to we got it right. Now, this has gone into the right hand. Why? Because now we're about to read face fear or something, so past needs help. Okay. We need to sit better, don't we? Yeah. How do we need to sit? So we just let the body lead and find out. We need to open up the front of groins, don't we? The front hips vertically rather than outwardly. So we need to be in Virasana, don't we? Hero pose. Bye, no. We're okay, it's going to be fine. We've got our balls. We won't have the purple one. We put our balls under our armpits, okay? That'll stop our armpits closing in. Oh my God, it's gone to 2 hours. It was just under an hour last time. Yeah, but this is okay. What needs to be done. People don't have to watch it. You can edit it out, take the good bits out so that whoever wants to watch the raw, organic, unedited, they can, and then we can edit it so that they can watch the edited, but maybe they can't handle that either. So we'll put it so that it's onto the hearing. So it depends which sense they are most comfortable with and to what modality they watch or listen to. This is not very easy. I know, but never is with us, is it? But it's going to get easier and easier. Okay, we trust you. Thank you. It makes me feel really good to hear you say that. We trust you too, okay? And I'm sorry that we've not been able to hear you before. But you're incredible. You've taught us so much.
I hope the sound's been okay on this. I know sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, and I've got no idea why. We just always put that down to technology in the moment of how it's meant to be. Under that one. Oh God, I don't want. I'm going to start using the logical mind to figure it out. Then we're not meant to. Then are we meant to because of this? But blue, masculine, red's feminine. Masculine is the active doing. Feminine is the receptive. So if masculine is the active doing and it's being done and you're in your blood, the active blood that you need to do stuff with is red, isn't it? And then once the blood's done stuff, and I think it passes down the, is it the veins that it's got the fresh oxygen in? And then it's the arteries once it's been used up to go back. And that's more blue, maybe. See, I don't know if that's a good response. It's a clearing, so I think that's a good response. I don't know what you just said now, though. Put it on, let's just do it and see how we feel, and then which one feels best, rather than doing it from the head all the time. Well, that's not a very good reaction, but then I don't know if that's good or not. I don't even know if we did it long enough. Let's try this one and see. I know that we always push ourselves too hard, so it would make sense that one should be able to, it would make sense that one would be better if one could just discover it really easy. Wow, there was a sound, a nice sign of relief when we exhaled then. So I'm going to stick with that. What colour was it? We can watch back and find out. You probably know what colour it is, but... Oh look, we've got up to how to address fear. I think that's on our SoundCloud page. That's it, fear of fear. Yeah, this is it. The sensations of fear. Several years ago, while visiting my daughter and my first grandchild, who was then a toddler, I decided to build a fence around the backyard so my grandson could play freely and safely outside. I had only a few days for the project. My daughter had no tools or supplies, and it was summer in Georgia, 90 degrees Fahrenheit and 90% humidity. Invite you to join in with a bit of humming. So do what's natural for you first. Just take a breath, whatever's natural. So we've inhaled through our nose first time then. Okay, so a few breaths through your nose. Because I inhaled through my nose firstly then, and I took a few breaths in. That's the pattern. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. We have to step a few baby steps into whatever it is that we want to change. So because I've breathed in naturally first then, and it's through my mouth, my nose, we would then breathe out, but we'd be inclined to breathe out through our mouth, but that's too big a jump. So we're going to breathe all out through our nose, then our mouth, and then our nose. So we're using the nose as the spectrum of energies for the inhalation and the exhalation, and then we're doing the extra bit of the actual bit that changes with the mouth. The mouth accesses the wider, thicker rainbow electromagnetic field, meridians. that make up the fascia trains of the body, and the nose accesses the thinner threads. The mouth accesses the central nervous system, the nose accesses the peripheral nervous system. So you may wish to join in at your own time, at your own pace. So we're going to start with the sounding straight away, and we're going to sound on an exhalation and an inhalation. I can imagine it might be permanent sounding out and in to start with, and then we'll probably leave a pause in between the sounding of out and in between the sounding of in, and then we'll bring in, so that would be, so we've just done Ujjayi breath, which is observing the breath. And then you've got the spaces and the pauses, but we'll also be going into Viloma if you want to know technical terminology, but we'd prefer to take technical terminology out of it. We're just sharing that for some reason, and I'm not sure what that is, and I'm not going to go into that right now because it's not important. We're teaching you how to connect with your body in the patterns that it needs by sharing what we're doing with our body.
Then it's time.
ECAEP. Okay up. Okay up. Okay up. Stay on by normal. Inom petito pa. Mama.
Fear of fear. The sensations of fear. Several years ago, while visiting my daughter and my first grandchild, who was then a toddler, I decided to build a fence around the backyard so my grandson could play freely and safely outside. I had only a few days for the project. My daughter had no tools or supplies. And it was summer in Georgia, 90 degrees Fahrenheit and 9 degrees humidity. So I knew it would be a challenge. But I also knew I would rest easier 3,000 miles away at home if I could picture Brian with a secure play.
Oh,
area. I began early and worked late. We made frequent trips in their little car for boards, post hole, diggers, and dozens of things I hadn't considered before I took on the task. And we had fun with everyone, including Brian helping out. The last evening before my flight home, we made the big push to finish. My working until dark, about 9 p.m, and a few hours the next morning. I figured I just might finish. We had to go into town for a couple of last-minute items. So to save time, we had a fast food dinner. By 10 p.m, everyone was in bed. I was having a cup of tea when I began to feel anxious. My first thought was that perhaps there was someone outside the house. Maybe I'd heard a noise and was responding to it even though it hadn't consciously registered. I peered out of every window, closed the curtains, turned on the exterior lights, and went back to my tea. The anxiety grew. I could feel that I was headed for what is called a panic attack. My brain was searching, scanning, scrambling, frantically to figure out the cause of this momentary hysteria. I was covered in a cold sweat. My heart was pounding. My breath was approaching a pant. I tried to focus my awareness on breathing, to calm my body down. What is this? What's wrong? I asked myself. If this is a premonition, then we are very near the end. The missiles must be on their way. No, that's crazy. But what is it? Am I worried I won't get the fence finished? Ridiculous. I could always postpone the flight. Am I worried the plane will crash? That's not it. What is it? In a few minutes, I was in the bathroom, sicker than I had ever been. Dinner exploded from my body. Finally, it came to me. I had food poisoning. My stomach was churning. My mind was racing. I was cold, clammy, weak. Since I had never been poisoned before, my mind had no experience of this. And so it went to the only experience it knew that could explain these sensations. This is fear. Something awful must be going to happen. But those sensations had nothing to do with fear. The sensations were my body trying to expel poison. Not only did my explanation to myself not prevent something from happening, i.e. getting sick, but by focusing on something purely imaginary. It took my attention away from what was actually happening. Without fear, wouldn't you just walk out into traffic? The belief is that being afraid keeps you from doing something dangerous or just dumb. But that's one of the processes fear uses to protect itself. When we look more closely, we begin to see, especially if we decide to approach something we are afraid of, that fear is protecting itself against us. It looks as if fear is on your side, taking care of you, keeping you safe. Until you decide to do something it tells you not to do.
Potato, man. Pouch. Potato. Hey, the potato more. Potato.
At that point, you become enemies. You are in an adversarial relationship with that which supposedly is protecting you. In other words, rather than simply being a signal that something is going on, fear begins to look like an active force with an agenda of its own. One might conclude that fear itself is the danger. One, you are home alone. It is the middle of the night. A sound from another room wakes you. You lie in your bed with your mind scrambling for an explanation. Nothing fits except that someone has entered the house. Your stomach is knotted. Your palms are sweaty. Your breath is shallow. Your heart knocks in your chest. Two, you're at the top of a ski slope. You look down and what you see is steep and icy. We done that. Sometimes a lot on our arse. Your heart pounds. Your breath is shallow. Your stomach is in knots. You break into a cold sweat. 3, early evening, and you have cooked dinner for someone you recently met, who turned out to be the most wonderful person in the world. The very person, in fact, you've been waiting for all your life. It's 15 minutes before your guest arrives. As you make a final check of the house. As you make a final check of the house, the meal, and your appearance, your palms are clammy. Your stomach tightens. Your breathing quickens. Your heart. Three very different sensations. 3 very different situations, not sensations. First, a prowler in your house, which could be life-threatening. Second, physical activity you have not only chosen, but have paid a lot of money to do. Third, an emotional experience you have dreamed of and wished for. The physiological responses are very similar in each case, but how we think and feel about the situation, whether it is acceptable or not, determines whether we label the experience fear. In the case of the potential romance, we might get There's a cough, there's a cough, there's a cough. Niaga, Niaga, Niaga. Green and focused. Ouch! Time title, Ma. Three very different situations. First, a prowler in your house, which could be life-threatening. Second, physical activity. Second, physical activity you have not only chosen, but have paid a lot of money to do. Third, an emotional experience you have dreamed of and wished for. The physiological responses are very similar in each case, but how we think and feel about the situation, whether it is acceptable or not, determines whether we label the experience fear. In the case of the potential romance, we might call the experience excited anticipation. On the ski slope, it could be exhilaration or thrill. Hearing a prowler, we might call it terror. If we can simply be with whatever it is that is being experienced. Boom, 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 boom. The pounding heart. The pounding heart, the tight stomach. The pounding heart, the tight stomach, the sweaty palms. There is no problem. Those sensations do not mean that you should or should not do anything. They don't mean anything at all. But when we feel threatened, we believe those sensations mean that something terrible is going to happen. Something terrible is going to happen to us. Something that we cannot stand. And we extend that to mean we will die. If only, shh. We don't mean that, do we? No. On. Is no. Il no. Il no fee. Il no fee. Il no fee. Oh. They don't mean anything at all. But when we feel threatened, we believe those sensations mean that something terrible is going to happen to us, something that we cannot stand, and we extend that to mean we will die. In fact, nothing has happened to us that we did not survive. The fear of fear shrinks our world. We will do anything to avoid the discomfort of fear, even though we have never examined the experience itself, never taken a step forward never taken a step toward it and looked to see exactly what it is, never considered that it might not mean what we think it means. The emptiness of fear. Much of what we call fear is thought. For example, a car swerves out of control in front of you and everything goes into slow motion. Adrenalina. Inilanada. Enilanada. Anilendra. Adrenaline rushes through the body at the moment of danger, and evasive actions are taken to avoid a collision. In that moment, there are no thoughts. There is just a oneness with the situation. Instead of thinking about what to do, there is just doing the next thing. Many people report that in situations when they are truly threatened, there is no fear. The whole experience arises in each moment. There's turning the wheel of the car. There's stepping on the brake. But there is no experience of anyone doing it, of making conscious decisions. I consider this phenomenon some of our best evidence that fear does not help us, does not protect us, does not take care of us. Fear comes in afterwards. Only later there are thoughts of what might have happened. The car almost hit us. Another few yards and we would have gone off the road. I could have been killed. In fact, none of those things happened. All that happened was sensations and thoughts about those sensations. What most of us think of as fear is primarily a mental process of imagining situations that do not exist in the moment. Next time, where fear comes from. There's the one of us that wants to just keep going and keep going. Excuse me. But that comes from fear, I think, and desperation. And we're learning about being present and to slow down and feel the sensations in the body on a subtler level. Namaste. If you've chosen to join in, let's play and learn and grow together. It wasn't a very playful one, I'm afraid. With the Shinto yoga and Stoic experience. You brave, courageous soul, I honour you. What I see in you, I honour in me. What I honour in me, I see in you. There's another bit to it, but I don't know what that is. Namaste. Take care of yourselves, wonderful people, beautiful souls, beautiful bodies, beautiful cellular communities. Let's start the Gandhi quantum ripple effect. Be the change you want to see in the world.